ancient Persian stories begin with this line, and while in English, the phrase loses its mystical meaning a little bit, in Farsi, the words transport listeners to a different time and different place. I can still distinctly remember the stories that my father would tell me that would begin with this phrase. And each time he began, I would just be taken to this place of mystery or adventure, terrifying feats, whatever it was. So I'd like to think that just as these Persian stories begin with this line, the stories of my life also begin with this once upon a time theme. Like that one time I was born, September 30th, 9:30 at 9:30 at night, which oddly enough made for the perfect time for my bedtime to be sort of reprimanded and put in place, circa like 2004. Or the day I moved to Annapolis, and I can remember driving on the streets and seeing the faces of these kids that were running around like I had never seen before. These faces would grow to be faces that I would carry with me every day, whether it was my first day of middle school or my first day of high school or high school graduation. These faces helped shape who I am as a person today. Or that very first time I walked onto a Feel Happy field and I felt the rush of encouragement and excitement and just the camaraderie of a team and feeling that joy of a well-deserved win. Or when I got my first college acceptance letter, it was as if all of my hard work had paid off, that I was being recognized, that I was going to college. Or the very first time I got my first tattoo. It was this mixture of pain and excitement, and then inevitably the, oh man, what are my parents gonna think? Or the very first time I walked into church, and I realized that Jesus was an essential part of my life, someone that I carry with me everywhere I go, that has just brought me through countless times and really solidified who I am as a person and what my goals are in life. Or the experiences that I've had traveling across the world and getting to see part of my heritage, part of my culture that shaped me, and seeing these sights and smelling these smells that I could have never imagined. It's all of these little moments, just glimpses of my story, have just accumulated into my life that began with the Ekibubi Ekinamu. And just as my father's stories used to begin with this line, I'd like to think that my story also began